Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you my nature journaling process and give you some tips along the way. Firstly, I want to recommend this book, The Curious Nature Guide by Clare Leslie. It is full of inspiring prompts that I think are perfect advice for nature journaling during the current stay-at-home order. Walker includes a lot of great wisdom about finding beauty where you already are. So, what is a nature journal? A nature journal should be a portable book with acid-free paper that is dedicated to only nature journaling. In this book, you will focus on recording observations from the world around you. Observations can lead to questions, but you'll want to keep all of your reflection strictly about nature. Some examples of reflection and observations could be how the tomatoes in your garden split after raining, relationships you see between wild plants and animals, a little river carved into a dirt path during a big storm, and so on. Some nature journals are more scientific and some are more artistic, but in either case, your nature journal should be used for recording actual life, not expression from your imagination. Try to be objective because this journal is a record of the changes in the world around you, as well as a record of your own progress in observation skills, identification skills, and your artistic skills. In a different kind of journal, subjective expression from your imagination can be really important. But take this nature journaling time to get out of your own head and just focus on the details of the world around you. It can be a very relaxing experience. When you do have a chance to go outside and get up close with nature, take note of little details like patterns in tree bark, the lines that moving water makes, how leaves are connected to branches, how petals sprout from the stem or the middle of a flower, etc. All these little details turn into knowledge and understanding that helps you make sense of how nature works and how to draw natural shapes. So let's get started! Wherever you are right now, look for nature around you. Take a few minutes to just focus on the beauty of your home place. Look out your window. Maybe you see a sprawling field, or a garden, or a dense forest. Maybe you see buildings and roads. There is still nature there. Look at the sky. What color is it today? Is there a tree branch creeping in the frame of your windowsill? Or maybe a bird on a power line? Observe the sky in detail. What do the clouds look like? What is the weather like? Where is the sun right now? Look up the temperature and write down the weather, date, and time in the top corner of your journal. Then, grab your watercolors, or whatever you're using for color, colored pencils, markers, whatever. You're going to create an accurate palette as well as you can of the colors you actually see outside. Not the colors you'd assume, not green for the leaves, brown for the bark, blue for the sky. You're going to look outside and depending on the weather and the time of day, record those colors accurately. Maybe the sky is gray. Maybe the fresh spring leaves appear more yellow than green, etc. You don't have to include every single color you see, just the main ones that really stand out to you or seem important. You can label this little palette something like colors of the day. Now we're going to sketch. During my actual observation time, I like to lightly sketch so that I can focus more on my surroundings than my paper. I just quickly write or draw something that will jog my memory later when I am ready to add more detail. I personally like to take pictures at this time as well, mainly when I'm outside. I like to take pictures because that allows me to identify plants, which is what I'm really interested in learning more about. I use the iNaturalist app to upload pictures, and this app automatically identifies plants for me. And it keeps a record so I can go back and kind of study what I've observed. I really like it. You can also use this app to get involved with a citizen science project, which is something I am trying to do as well. So, back to sketching. I like to start my sketch with a general shape so I know that I can fit every detail that I want in my observation in the space of my page. I sketch as lightly as possible. Some people might want to sketch with watercolors, some people with pencil. If you're using pencil, make sure that it's a lighter pencil if you can. With watercolor brushes, I would use a liner brush for more control, and again, try and use a very light value of watercolor paint. So, when you're ready to add more details later, we're going to work on watercolors. With watercolors, you build darker values by layering paint. So again, you want to start with a lighter layer to kind of fill the subjects of your painting, and then layer on values and details with time. After your first layers have dried a bit, that second layer of paint is going to add a little texture and of course a darker value. So start with a very diluted version of the image that you hope to end up with, and just patiently add small details and darker values as your paint dries. Of course, you want to remember not to use too much water right at first, or by the end actually, because that's just going to muddle up your painting. So even though these are watercolors, for this type of journaling process, we're going to use a kind of dry brush technique with the watercolors. Remember that this journal is a record of your progress, so don't worry if you're not satisfied with the quality of your painting or drawing. It will improve with practice. Find a subject that sticks out to you that you might want to observe over time. Using this same object, drawing it over and over again, can not only show your progress in your artistic skills, but it can give you really good observations of how nature changes in relation to the things around it. You could choose the sky, you could choose a larger landscape that you can see from your window, or a tiny patch of moss if you're able to go outside. I am going to focus on this tree I photographed the last time I was able to visit the woods for today. Now, I'm just going to draw and paint, and you're welcome to ask me questions in the comments. I will answer.